Right, Craig, you're Performance Development Manager for Cricket Scotland, and you've been working for a couple of years so far with this particular group of players. Now you're planning to go to India with them. What, when, how, why?
We're going to a place called Pune, which used to be called Pune. It's about 2.5 hours drive outside Mumbai. The rationale is really we're trying to provide opportunities for our best young players to get experiences which will, speed up their development and put them in a place and give them experiences that will hopefully enable them in the next few years to go on and be successful performers for Scotland at senior level.
And why India?
Well, I mean, as you know, I've got experience of being there myself, but I think the subcontinent in particular is a challenging environment. And we're trying to make these opportunities as challenging as possible. With Scotland now playing all around the world in different conditions and different environments, I think it's important that our young players get exposure to those experiences as early as possible. Another real focus of the tour is to develop our batting against spin. And obviously to give the bowlers the experience of bowling in very different conditions to what they're used to. So there's several different reasons for going to the subcontinent, but obviously we've ended up in India.
Before we go and explore any of that a bit further, are there any security concerns about going to India?
Well, there was an incident a few weeks ago, and we took it upon ourselves to communicate with the players and with the parents, and everyone fortunately is happy still to go, but obviously the situation's not ideal, but it seems to be anywhere in the world you go these days there's potential problems.
Well, you yourself, as you mentioned, went to India as captain of a 3-week tour, 15 years ago or so. How did that help you?
I probably didn't think it was helping me at the time, because it was a very challenging 3 weeks for any number of reasons. But reflecting on that and looking back on it, that was a massively important experience for me, just in terms of dealing with conditions that were so alien to what we were used to, and playing against some really fantastic cricketers as we did on that tour, and really just the conditions being so alien to what we're used to, the nature of cricket in that country, with the dominance of spinners, different requirements as a seam bowler in terms of how you bowl, and obviously just different questions being asked of you as a batsman with the low bouncing ball, and as I say, the spinners bowling a lot of the overs. So on reflection, it was a huge development opportunity for me in my career, and hopefully will be for the guys who are going over there in a couple of weeks as well.
And as captain, did that bring you on, do you think, having to deal with these conditions as a captain?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had illnesses, we had travel problems, we had very strong opposition to contend with, as you're well aware, and certainly as a 19-year-old captain at the time, it was a massive eye opener for me. But as I say, being in these situations or experiencing these conditions as a young player certainly makes you better able if you're then confronted with them in the future, and that's the intention with these guys as well. And
what would you select as the highlights of that tour?
Well, I think from memory it was a bit of a struggle in terms of results. We played against some very strong opposition, so the opportunity really to play against some really fantastic players from the subcontinent, but we got the opportunity to play in a couple of the test venues from memory, the Wankhede Stadium and the Brabourne Stadium, so that was a real thrill to play in stadiums which sort of held 40,000-50,000 people, and just seeing the country. It's such a fascinating country, and having the opportunity to see, as we did, some of the landmarks and the Taj Mahal and things like that was something that certainly will never leave me.
Well, I suppose one of the highlights will have been in the very first game at the Bombay Gymkhana Club, when Justin Gayfer made his 100 off the last ball of the innings.
Justin Gayfer of Ferguson led the way with some adventurous hitting against a team which, like all the others encountered on the tour, included Ranji Trophy players. But Gayfer went on to make the first and last century of the tour, with the Scots finishing at a superb 284 for 5.
And you personally, I seem to remember, did pretty well playing in the Wankhede Stadium.
Yeah, I took some wickets, which was a thrill doing it at that venue.
Craig Wright of West Scotland, the tour captain, made the most of it. He finished with 4 wickets. All the bowlers by then had learned how vital it was to pitch on line and length or be punished severely. For the first time, the Scots took all 10 opposition wickets. 229 all out, and some genuine hope for skipper Drew Parsons.
Well done, eh?
Yeah, great performance for the boys. Came back very well there. Got off to a great start. Craig and Goose bowled an absolutely brilliant spell at the ground, Craig especially. One boy got an unlucky one that I think didn't come out of the ground, but it was good to get a team all out for a change.
But you know, there was some real good individual performances generally. Justin scoring that 100, Drew Parsons, since remember, had a very good tour, and Dougie Lockhart was there. So there was some players who got some real good experiences out of that trip, who went on to have decent cricket careers.
Then to Jaipur and the last two matches. The penultimate match was lost narrowly, and that meant the tourists had to give their all in the final game. Drew Parsons, the player of the tour with 500 runs and 11 wickets, was the key, but with his liking for big shots in the air, he had never been not out. But the target came closer, a 4. If Parsons could stay to the end, there was a real chance, though the bowling was good. By now, 16-year-old Scott Dempsey of Drumpelia, who had had a good tour, had joined him. Another 4, 5 balls to go, 4 runs required for that desperately needed victory. The tension was palpable.
That's it,
Celebrations at last, with Parsons not out 89 and Dempsey contributing another vital supporting innings. The young Scots could contemplate the long journey home with some satisfaction. Craig Wright's reaction said it all.
Had to happen eventually. What a relief.
So what particular benefits do you hope this class of 2010 will gain from this trip?
And the reason that they've been asked to go is that we think they've got a chance of having decent cricket careers, or we wouldn't be taking them.
I mean, you were originally only going to take 4 or 5, but now you're taking all 15 as far as I can see.
Well, it was originally intended as the sort of overseas component of the performance course, but we've managed to secure some funding and make the budgets work to take 15 now, which is fantastic. So obviously a significant number more players are getting the opportunity than would otherwise have been the case.
Well, you've invested a lot of time and energy in this particular group of players for the last couple of years or so. How confident are you that they will come through together as a group?
Well, I think some of them already have made their way into the senior programme. Matthew Parker and Mark Petrie, Ewan Chalmers have all played internationally for Scotland now, you know, centred around that group that we've been working with for about 2 years. But there's some younger players coming on this tour as well who we see as being the next ones, hopefully, who'll come through. And you know, the opportunities that are available for these guys at a senior level now is just incredible. You know, and hopefully the work we're doing will stand them in good stead. But really, it's up to their own personal motivation in terms of where they want to take it in the future. But we hope we're putting together some programmes and some experiences for them. It's going to give them a decent chance of not just making it to senior level, but actually making it there and actually performing when they get there.
So how long are you going to be out there, and how many matches are you going to play?
Yeah, we're out there for 12 days, 12-day trip. We're playing 3 matches towards the end of the tour. It's mainly a training tour, but we're going to play 3 matches. Hopefully, one being against the local state under-19 team. So that'll be a good challenge for the guys. But as I say, it's mainly focusing on training, and we'll have some competitive stuff towards the end.
Enjoy.
Thank you.